Now I would like to invite our next speaker on stage, Prachi Satoskar. She is a commercial leader for GFK in Saudi Arabia. And with over 14 years of market research experience, Prachi specializes in driving value for international clients through tailored solutions. Today, she will discuss unleashing the power of customer insights, drawing from her experience in the Middle East and KSA market. Welcome, Prachi.
Good afternoon. So the topic is quite interesting, right? Leveraging the insights power. So basically today we can say that data by itself is useless for us, right? It can drive insights and those insights can be powerful for us. Without data, we all know we are blind. We live in an interconnected world. So we have a lots of data around us coming through various sources. And how does these data support us, basically? So what are the benefits of these data that we are looking at? We get data from our internal sources, external sources, the macroeconomics, and so on. We have various examples of companies who have not leveraged the data and have been left behind. So looking at it, they are crucial for today's business world, absolutely. But if you apply it, it is useful. If it just lies around, it is turning us blind. So the key benefit of the data is to understand the patterns, the trends. The patterns in terms of the competition, the patterns in terms of what's happening around, the patterns in terms of your products, the innovations, everything. They allow us to understand our customers better, what they want. No more can you have one size fit all. You require personalizations. So basically, data can help us drive these insights and allow us to bring in improvisations and ultimately allow us to make a profitable business. A business that can thrive into the competitive world. So looking at it, what would you basically use the data for? You would use it for making your effective marketing strategies. Sorry. You would use it to understand the purchase journey. You would use it to drive the segmentations. You would use it to know how to make the personalizations for your customers. Because unless you know what your customer wants, how can you personalize your services? How can you personalize your product? Can you have the same Facebook ad for all the customers around? No. So basically, you need to understand each of your customer by different segments, understand what is their purchase journey. Do they go offline? Do they go online? Do they do the research offline? Where are they going? And this is where we need to use the data to know where to go, where to target the customer, and basically how to target the customer. But is data all about what is happening today? Not at all. We are talking in data in terms of the predictive as well. So let's look at one case where the data insights were rightfully used in driving a car showroom. So a local car group in Canada, for example, which had approximately 20 dealerships, were trying to build its industry leadership status. But it was not satisfied about how it was driving the business. They were using the calls that were coming in into their call centers, but they did not know what to do about it, how to actually grow the business with that call center data by itself. Third, they were getting visitors on their website, but how do you use this data? Just do you use the names and addresses of these visitors and personalize it? So the need for that particular car showroom was to drive analytics. The analytics coming from your call center, coming from your website, bringing it all together, triangulate it, and build your strategies. So what did this car showroom basically do? The car showroom basically used the inbound service and calls to build around the brand and do advanced call tracking and analytics. This helped them to understand what is the age of those people coming in, what was the profile of those calls that were coming in. At the same time, what they did was, through the website, they used the call tracking feature to understand the real-time customers that were coming in. But at the same time, they triangulated the both. They triangulated the website, they triangulated the call center. And what they were able to build was the dynamic number insertion, improvise the tracking abilities, and at the end of it, they fully documented and analyzed various touch points from where they could get this call center data or the customer data, and they built something which was the entire purchase journey. They could understand that this guy was first calling at the call center, then going on to the website, then visiting the showroom, and then triangulate all that, build the purchase journey, and with this, they kind of tripled their sales within 1 year. So what they used was not just the data that was available, but they used what we call as advanced analytics. As I just said, it is not about just using the data that you have. It is about predicting the future. It is about predicting how the customer behavior will change. Will the customer behavior remain the same? Has it been the same today what it was in 2005 or 2010? Can the businesses predict this by themselves? So they do require advanced predictive analysis here to understand the customer behavior, how it will change. Based on it, they can typically build their inventory management. They can do their operational efficiency. They could further enhance their financial planning. Imagine if you know the predictive analysis, you can kind of do the right forecasting, but it is not about just forecasting your numbers. It is about forecasting the trends. It is about forecasting the customer behavior and what the customer will demand at the end of the day. So bringing all this predictive analysis, let's just look how a typical car showroom can work. It can understand from the pre-purchase stage till the time they are basically the end of value of the car. At each stage, you could use the predictive analysis to do various analytics and various predictions. For example, at the pre-purchase stage, you could basically understand what is the customer type that is visiting you. You could understand what are the personal needs of those customers. You could build personalized marketing campaigns for them. Not only on the offline, but also for the online. From there, you have the purchase stage, so you could build the right financial plans for them. And not only for today, we are talking about building it for the future. We are talking about building it for the next 1 year or the next 5 years, for example. In terms of your trends, what are the product features that you need in the next 5 years? Third comes the usage stage. You know exactly when the guy will typically be doing his servicing, especially in an electrical vehicle 5 years down the line. So you can plan your long-term strategy not only for your showroom, but basically for your service centers. You would know what are the aftermarket needs that would come along with it, and you could have the right tie-ups at that point of time. The fourth stage, we are talking about the garage stage, when the car is actually going into the garage for the servicing. At this point of time, we could understand what are the labor requirements that could be there. If I am going into a new country, if I am entering into a new market, or if I am entering into a new completely different segment. For example, today you are dealing with only motor vehicles. What if you start to deal with two-wheelers? You could do that predictive analysis in terms of what are the products, what are the features that you will need, what are the servicings that you will need, what are the financial plans that you will need, who will be your target customer, and how will you plan the servicing or the garage facilities as well. And at the end comes, of course, the end of life stage. where you exactly know that you will be targeting the customer once again 6 years down the line, or 7 years down the line, or 10 years down the line. And at that point of time, what would that customer need? So the predictive analysis could be used at each stage of your product. So we are not only talking in terms of data right now, but we are talking in data down the line. Forecasting, right? Then goes the third part of it is, of course, using the competitive intelligence. The competitive intelligence, of course, you know what your brand is doing, but do you know how your competition is planning at this point of time? Do you exactly know who your competitors are? Or are the new brands that are planning to come, are they planning to come in the premium sector or in the mid sector or in the low tier sector? Do you have a product across the low, medium, future tier? So this is how you could also use the competitive advantage data to know the competitor's strengths and weakness, build around that, monitor the market trends, analyze the strategies, the pricing. Do you need to do a discount during the Ramadan, or do you need to do a discounting during the back to school days or during the end of the year? Then comes in the marketing effects. You have done your promos, you have done the pricing analytics, you have done the discounting. How much has the campaign really helped you? What was the benefit of that money that you spent on those campaigns? Was the campaign effective? Did it actually target the customers that it should have targeted? Or was it meant for a teenager and it ended up going to a senior citizen? Right? So this is where you can understand the marketing efforts and also the new growth strategies of what your competitor is doing. What is he targeting? Is he targeting a particular segment, and where is he trying to grow? So based on that, you can build your strategy as well at the right time. And it's not about just all this, but it is about staying updated in that industry and understand what your competition will go to do in the next stage, and accordingly being proactive rather than being reactive. Take this step much before than your competition would do. And on the same lines, I would like to highlight one case here, which is how the company benefited by monitoring the market trends. So this is about a last mile delivery solution that was being provided. It had efficient electric bikes, and they were using it to revolutionize the last mile delivery. The delivery was safety focused, and they incorporated advanced safety features, and it had a sustainable delivery ecosystem. But what was the logistic implications on these? How did the logistic and transportation get impacted with this? How did they build the logistics and transportation? This was built using, again, the data features. They used the data to find out where exactly is my customer, and from there, the last mile delivery was planned using the data. Second, they built it understanding the e-commerce and online. So basically an omni-channel presence. So they used both the e-commerce as well as the offline to build their delivery efficiency. At the same time, enhancing the customer satisfaction. And the third part of it was the technology and manufacturing sectors as well explored these innovations. So they basically brought in all these aspects to monitor the market trends and accordingly built their solution around it. So in short, I would say that the data could be used across your multiple life sections. Right now, what is happening, what has happened, and what could be predicted. And built on that, build a whole term solution or a whole term strategy around your data, which helps you to face the market, build a product which is market driven, your services which are market driven, and at the end of it, you are being more proactive than your competition. That's it from my side. Just to know, these are the different points that you can actually leverage the data at. Thank you.